Please don't forget to subscribe and comment. My name is Olivia Carson, and if someone had told me a year ago that I'd be telling the world about the most unexpected turn my life took, I would have laughed in disbelief. But sometimes, the heart keeps secrets until it finds the one person safe enough to share them with. I was 38, married for over a decade to a man who had grown distant, cold, and far too familiar with silence. Greg, my husband, was a successful man by all outward appearances, but inside our home, I was fading. He traveled often, and even when he was home, he was emotionally miles away. I started to wonder if I still existed to him, or if I was just another piece of furniture he walked past. I told myself to endure, to be strong. But truthfully, I was lonely. And more than that, I was tired of pretending that I wasn't. It all began with a smile. A small, seemingly harmless moment. I was watering my roses one afternoon when I saw him, Herry. He had just moved in across the street. 26, tall and handsome, with warm hazel eyes and this calm confidence that made people turn and notice. He waved at me, a simple gesture, but something about the way he looked at me made me feel seen. The next day, he walked over with 2 coffee cups in hand. "I accidentally brewed too much," he said, smiling. "Figured you could use some." It was sweet, unexpected. I accepted the cup, thanked him, and we exchanged names. From then on, our short chats became part of my routine. He'd always make a point to stop and talk. A compliment here, a laugh there. I began to crave those moments like air. One evening, during a power outage, I sat alone in my candlelit living room when there was a knock on the door. I opened it to find Herry, holding 2 mugs again. "Hot cocoa," he grinned. "Didn't want you to be in the dark alone." It was innocent, kind. But when he stepped inside, the air shifted. We sat close on the couch, and under that soft golden glow, we talked for hours. About our lives, our disappointments, the things we never told anyone else. I told him I used to paint, something I hadn't done in years. When our hands brushed, my heart skipped. And for the first time in a very long time, I didn't pull away. After he left, I held onto that cocoa mug like it was something precious. Because it was more than a drink, it was comfort, connection, hope. Over the next few days, everything changed. I found myself dressing with more care, smiling more, watching the window for any sign of him. We grew closer, carefully, respectfully. But the spark between us kept growing. Then came that Saturday. Herry invited me over for lunch. I told myself it was just food. But the way he looked at me across the table, the way his knee brushed against mine, it said everything he didn't need to say out loud. "Are you happy?" he asked quietly. "No," I replied, surprised by my own honesty. "I'm not." He reached across the table, took my hand. "You deserve to be." When he leaned in to kiss me, it was soft, tender, but powerful. I felt something break open inside me. Something I'd buried a long time ago. "I can't," I whispered, pulling away. "Why not?" he asked. "Because you're married, or because you've been told you're not allowed to want more?" I left, shaken but alive. My heart raced with guilt and desire all night. But the next morning, when Greg returned and didn't even notice the tears in my eyes, I realized I didn't owe anyone my silence anymore. Days later, I walked across the street and knocked on Harry's door. When he opened it, his expression said everything: surprise, hope, restraint. "I can't live like this anymore," I told him. He stepped aside, wordless, and I walked in. We didn't rush. We didn't fall into chaos. We sat on his couch, just like before, and this time, when our lips met, I didn't stop. He kissed me slowly, like he had all the time in the world. His hand slid gently around my waist. His lips brushed against my jawline, and for the first time in years, I felt like a woman. Not a wife. Not a caretaker. Just me. We held each other. Explored each other's presence, breath, and energy. It wasn't about sex. It was intimacy in its purest, most electric form. I could feel the restraint in his touch, the respect behind every move. And I knew I wasn't just an escape for him. I was something he truly wanted. I didn't sleep over. I went home at midnight, heartbeat loud in my chest, emotions crashing over me like waves. Weeks passed. Herry never pressured me. He was patient, kind, always nearby, always open. Then one night, he texted me. Meet me on the hilltop. Midnight. Trust me. I slipped out of the house like a teenager. He was waiting for me with his motorcycle, helmet in hand. Ever been on one of these? He asked. No. Then let's change that. We rode under a sky full of stars, the city behind us, wind in our hair. When we reached the hilltop, he pointed to the lights below. That's your world, he said. But you don't have to stay trapped in it. He handed me a tiny silver charm shaped like a compass. So you'll never lose your way again. I cried. He held me as I fell apart, and in his arms, I was whole again. I ended things with Greg. Officially. Honestly. For the first time, I wasn't afraid of being alone, because I had found myself. Now Herry and I live quietly, away from the noise. I paint again. I laugh. He wakes me with coffee and a kiss. He never makes me feel less, never dims my light. If you've ever felt invisible, forgotten, like you're just going through the motions, please know this. You matter. You deserve more. You deserve someone who sees you. And if my story touched your heart, I invite you to like, share, and subscribe. Not just for me, but for anyone out there waiting for permission to believe in second chances. Because sometimes, the one who helps you find your way back isn't who you expected, but exactly who you needed.